Conservative Party. How serious is that problem in your view?
I think that any form of discrimination or prejudice is ugly and intolerable, and we must stamp it out.
Do you think it... have you had personal experiences? Have you had people come to see you to say, look, this is a real issue?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. And, look, I mean, discrimination can affect people in all sorts of ways and in all sorts of levels. And some people can deal with it more easily than others. And when it happens, it is vicious, and we should be totally opposed to it. But yes, certainly people have come to me, and I've always tried to be sympathetic, and in every administration I've run, we've been totally generous in our approach and inclusive.
Nigel Sable. Over here.
Good afternoon. Mr. Johnson, can you cite two examples which will resonate with working people, where your work has had a beneficial effect on the prosperity of communities in the UK?
Yes, I can. I would single out what we did with the expansion of the London living wage, which was, I think, when I came into the mayoralty, we had about 27 companies that were paying it. After a few years, we had about 1,000 or more that were paying it. And there was a huge increase. Millions and millions of pounds went into the pockets of some of the poorest families in the city. And I was delighted that my friend George Osborne stole that policy, an act of theft I wholly condone, and made it into a national Conservative policy. And as a result, we Conservatives can be very proud of what we're doing in helping people on low incomes to take home more every week. And that's a great, great thing. And if I had what I want for our country is higher pay, not higher taxes. That should be our approach. Higher pay for the low paid, not higher taxes, and take people on low incomes out of tax. And I think the second thing that I would mention,
just before we get to the second thing, can I just on the promise that you made, I think it was in one of your columns, that you want to reduce tax for people earning between 50 and 80,000 to take them out of the top tax bracket. How does that fit with lowering taxes for the lower paid?
Because it's part of it would be part of a package where we would lift up allowances for the low paid to help relieve the burden on the low paid. And obviously continue to work on expanding the living wage. But I don't think that we Conservatives should be at all shy of discussing the way in which people on middle incomes, and I'm talking about nurses or heads of maths departments or police inspectors, who are being captured in the higher tax rates. And that seems to me to be something that we Conservatives should take an interest in. And if we can do something to reduce the burden of taxation, not just on the whole country, but on people on middle incomes, that will be a very good thing. We should not be at all shy of discussing that.
Okay, your second thing.
And the second thing, well remembered yet. The second thing I'm very proud of, that really it made a huge difference, I think, to people across our city, was well, I could mention a lot of things, but I'll mention housing. We built a huge number of homes. But I want to stress, since I know that this is a slightly neuralgic issue for good Conservatives, we built them, and we were able to build them by making use of fantastic transport infrastructure to develop brownfield sites, transport hubs, where it was possible to build good quality homes without going on to the green belt. And that makes a huge difference to the people of this city. And the people of our country.
Do you have a target per year?
Well, in 1968, I think this country produced about 470,000 homes. They were huge. And we should be at about 300,000, where, as you know, perhaps more, we're well behind those numbers. I'm not going to set a target, but we're clearly falling short at the moment. But in order to reach those numbers, we have to put in fantastic transport infrastructure. And let me give you one example of where we could do it. Crossrail 2. What is happening with this guy, Sadiq Khan? You know, I don't want to, sound like the President of the United States, but, what this, I mean, this is a fantastic project. If we built Crossrail 2, you would not only solve the problems of all the commuters coming in to southwest London, but you would liberate, you'd be able to build about 200,000 homes on brownfield sites in the Lower Lee Valley. Come on, we should be doing it. We should get on with it. And that is the way to do it. I don't want to set targets because, you don't need them at the moment. What you need is a much more ambitious program.
Nigel Demery.
How much longer have we got, Ian?
We've got less than 10 minutes.
All right, superb.
Good.
Are you bored?
No, I just wondered.
I can liven it up if you like.
It's all right. No. There's some quite hostile bowling, I may say. But, it's all right.
Mr. Johnson, you touched on this in your address, and the question was actually written for both contenders, so I'm sure you won't take this personally. You split the country in 2016, you split the electorate in 2017, you split Parliament and the party in 2019, and there's a danger of splitting the United Kingdom. All this happened on your watch. We've been called the nasty party again after 17 years.
No.
Please explain how you will unify all these factions. Thank you.
First of all, actually, I think that the only way to unite our party and indeed our country is to uphold the mandate of the people and get Brexit done. Because otherwise, the paradox is, and I think with great respect to any other candidates, we need now somebody who wants to get it done and who believes in that particular project and who can see the opportunities that it offers our country. And that is that. And you see, what has happened over the last 3 years is that far from coming together, as we have failed to come out, far from healing the divisions, the tensions have grown and they have got worse. So now is the time, get it done in a way that is positive and sensible, and then to get onto the real heart of your question, then show what I call the essential symmetry at the heart of our conservative beliefs. And I mean that vital symbiosis that between free market economics and fantastic public services and infrastructure. And that is a winning formula. And the broad, and believe me, the huge bulk of the British electorate and British population totally get that. Indeed, there's only a very tiny minority of people in politics who don't share those views, and they're represented by a semi-Marxist cabal that's currently piratically taken hold of the Labour Party. And our opportunity is to advance that agenda again, based, as I say, on education, infrastructure, and technology, do some fantastic things for our country in the next year or so, and believe me, that will bring our party together, and we will restore the winning position that we deserve. That's my agenda.
How do you bring together the Conservative Parliamentary Party? Now, you've got over half their votes, so that's a good start. But how can you get...
Yeah, but let's hold that thought. That was a very good point, Ian, you just made, which characteristically good point, if I may say so.
Well, no, let me finish the question,
okay.
Because I want to know how you can unite Dominic Grieve on the one side and Marc Francois on the other. Because Dominic Grieve, I don't know if you heard him on the Today programme this morning, he was essentially threatening to bring down your government before you'd literally done anything. You could be the Lady Jane Grey of British Prime Ministers if you're not careful.
But I mean, well, a couple of points in answer to that. First of all, actually, I've got people from all wings of the party supporting me, and you know, you look at the who we've got. I think, you know, Bob Neal told me yesterday that he wanted to support me, who's been very much of the Dominic Grieve persuasion. I have people from, you know, from Lucy Fraser to Steve Baker to everybody can see what I'm trying to do.
If there are 15 or 20 of them, Dominic Grieve, maybe Philip Hammond, lots of others, who have threatened to vote against the Conservative government in a vote of confidence, therefore presumably they wouldn't be able to stand in a future general election. If they're willing to do that, they've kind of, they're hardly persuadable, are they?
Well, let's see. Because, you know what I think? I think these are sensible, sober, mature, good people. And they can see that politics has changed since March the 29th. And they can see, we can all see, on both sides of the House, we can see the reality that we face. Unless we get this thing done, unless we work together, unless we swallow our pride and our differences and come together, I think we're going to have a terminal problem in our party. And that's the incentive that I think all of us face. And I think it was Dr. Johnson who said, you know, depend upon it, sir, nothing concentrates the mind so powerfully in a man as the knowledge that he's going to be hung in a fortnight, or something like that. And I'm misquoting it, but that is the reality. We need to do this, not just for the sake of democracy, though that is vital, but also because our great party will otherwise not be able to go on and deliver all the fantastic things that people on both sides, all sides of our parties, want to do. We need to get this thing done and move on.
What do you... What do you make of the fact that Rory Stewart said he would be quite happy to work with Nigel Farage to bring Brexit about, but wouldn't work with you?
Well, you know, what can I say? I just refer to the answer I gave a few moments ago, which was that there is an extraordinary wealth of talent in the Conservative Party, and I'm sure that everybody will be wanting to put their shoulders to the wheel and get things done. And you know, let's hope that goes for Rory as well.
Boris Johnson, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you very much. Thanks, everybody. Thank you. I'll see you later on. I'm coming to Sutton Coldfield in a minute. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll have a quick 2-minute reset, and then we will see a short video film from the Jeremy Hunt campaign.
Hi, I'm Jess, and 1 year ago I was hired as the campaign manager for Northampton North. It's been a busy year, but we're making real progress. My focus has been on growing our membership and recruiting new activists. We have a fantastic team out knocking on doors and hearing from residents all year round. Because of this, we have a team ready to win at the next election.
My name is Akram Mwanga. My role is Borough Campaign Manager for Barking and Newham. My role involves bridging the communication gap between the association offices